welcome back to Restaurant Review. I'm your host, Bob Bockelman, and it's the last Saturday in March 2003. Boy, can you believe that? And we appreciate you coming back to us every Saturday here on Orleans Cable 77 at 3 to 4 p.m. Hopefully you know the purpose of the show is to introduce to you the newest and finest restaurant chefs and owners in our city, and also to debut new musical emerging musicians, so that way you can see the two finest parts of our town, both the food and the music. And don't forget our website, restrevue.com, restrevue.com. You can come and be in the studio. You can recommend any restaurant or any musician you'd like to see. And we've got some other new exciting things to talk about near the end of the show, but we want to go ahead and follow our normal format, which means that because we got a really exciting new artist as well as a great new restaurant. So we want to take our old leisurely stroll to the back of the studio and introduce today's musical guest. Follow me. Okay, we're back here with our musical guest by the name of Dave Malakar. Thank you. I shouldn't have any problem with that, Bockelman being such a hard name. But Dave, you're not a native. Whereabouts did you hail? And how long have you been down here?
Came down here 3 years ago to begin the third half of my life.
Oh, good. Very good. Third half. That's great. That's great. And how would you categorize? Do you have a category of your type of music?
It's sort of, you have to end up calling it kind of folk rock. It's got folk country, rock? Blues. It's American music. Okay. He doesn't have a CD out yet, but he's working on it. But he does have a website, so you can find out more about him and or some of his appearances. We'll talk about in a second. What's that website? www.malakar, that's MALEKAR.com.
Great. Contact him there. You can find out all about him, and hopefully you'll like him. And one other thing, you're appearing in one of our favorite places, the Neutral Ground. When is that coming?
Neutral Ground, sometime toward the end of April. I'm terrible with dates.
Okay. Well, give a holler to the Neutral Ground. Look it up in the phone. But they publish a calendar in advance if you want to get it. I don't know if they mail it, but I know you can pick it up there.
Neutral Ground has a website too, Bob.
Yeah, I know they do. So we've already published that before. So contact or look it up on Neutral Ground, either on the phone or on the website, and you can find out with Dave. And Dave, what are you going to do your first song?
I'm going to do a song that's about the very first guitar I ever bought for $39.95.
Okay, take it away.
The song's called F-Hole Silvertone. My first guitar was a F-Hole Silvertone. Bought it at the Sears about a mile from my home. Sitting in the bedroom, banging on a G chord. Everybody said, what you want to do that for? My brother had a banjo. We'd sit up all night, laughing like fools if we got something right. It took about 2 hours to tune my guitar, about 2 minutes to play the whole repertoire. Daddy didn't make my first guitar from an old cigar box and baling wire. Never had a wreck in a Cadillac car. I only picked the cotton from an aspirin jar. Only picked cotton from an aspirin jar. Somehow I got into a country band, all the beer we could drink, and $7 a man. I played a pointy little short scale bass from Sweden, drank a lot of beer. I was trying to break even. Daddy didn't make my first guitar from an old cigar box and baling wire. Never had a wreck in a Cadillac car. I only pick a cotton from an aspirin jar. I only pick cotton from an aspirin jar. Only pick a cotton from an aspirin jar. Only ever pick a cotton from an aspirin jar. This guy from Texas had a big blonde K. I gave him $300 and I carried it away. I spent the next 5 years in a red Dodge van, slapping that K, shook Bill Monroe's hand. Daddy didn't make my first guitar. I never drank White Lightning from an old fruit jar. Never had a wreck in a Cadillac car. Only pick a cotton from an aspirin jar. Only pick a cotton from an aspirin jar. Only pick the cotton from an aspirin jar. Only ever pick the cotton from an aspirin jar. From my torn up fingers to my worn out back, well, I feel like I've been hauling around a tar bottom sack, but I've seen more fights than a 5th grade teacher. I've been to more weddings than a Mormon preacher. Daddy didn't make my first guitar. I'll never see the big time. I'll never be a big star. I only pick the cotton from my aspirin jar. Only pick the cotton from my aspirin jar. Only pick the cotton from my aspirin jar. Only ever pick the cotton from my aspirin jar. First guitar was a F-hole silver tone. Bought it at the Sears about a mile from my home. Sitting in the bedroom banging on a G chord. Everybody said, what you want to do that for? Sitting in the bedroom banging on a G chord. Everybody said, what you want to do that for?
Wow, I tell you, we're sitting here, what a toe tapper, huh? That's Dave Malakar, and I tell you, I was a little concerned about the name of that song, because, you know, we have our regulations here on public access television, excuse me. But Dave explained that that is actually the description of the actual hole on the original instrument of the guitar, so everything's copacetic there. The important song is what a great tribute to that original guitar. And I tell you, we could not have gotten a better song for, and hopefully the rest of those songs on He Appears the rest of the day will match that, because we've got a great new restaurant today for you, a real upbeat, I think we want to call it a retro contemporary diner. Now I know that really is, you're scratching your head with that, but I assure you by the end of the day, hopefully you'll see what we're talking about. And we're glad to celebrate today, I believe, and I know our guests will correct me if not, today I believe is the 1 week anniversary of this new restaurant. How do you like that? For 1 week. We told you that our focus is to bring the newer restaurants to you as soon as possible. It'll be a while before you see this written up, but we're hoping we'll get it in one of the papers soon, because this is definitely a dynamite hit. And I don't know if you can read from the menu here, but the name of the restaurant is Slim Goodies Diner. Wow, what a name, huh? It's uptown on our Magazine Row. Magazine Street is a restaurant row uptown right now. Very, very hot for restaurants, and it's between Louisiana and Washington Avenue. Brand new place, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner late nights on the weeknights for most weekdays, and certainly on the weekend. You're going to find some of the best food at the most affordable prices, something that's a lot of fun. People have found out that they can't even accommodate the people who are coming in so much, but the food is keeping up to standard, and that's what we always are interested in. And we are interested in welcoming today one of the co-owners of the new Slim Goodies Diner. It's Miss KAPPA HORNE. KAPPA, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, KAPPA and her brother Raymond have opened this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is it your anniversary?
It certainly is.
1 week, people would be afraid to come on the show. In fact, I had to do a little arm twisting, but I think they got used to me. And so many times I eat at the restaurant, they said, well, we're going to humor him. But I think she's going to enjoy this, and I know you're going to enjoy hearing about it. Tell us, what brought you and your brother into the idea of doing this?
Well, I fell in love with diners as a young girl when the pharmacies used to have diners.
Remember that? Remember that?
Lots
when you
of
go to
pharmacies
soda fountains?
and soda fountains in New Orleans, in the French Quarter, All over you could find the old stools and the booths, which was kind of a comforting thing as a child.
And not just the children, to grow
No,
up.
definitely not.
And of course, we've had only one that's really stayed in our city a long term, and that's been the fabulous Camellia Grill.
Absolutely, that's
But we're
awesome,
seeing
yeah.
more and more of the retro coming back. People love that, the return to good old American food served at reasonable prices, especially in today's economy. People are watching their budget. So you couldn't have come with a greater idea at this particular time. And folks, for those who are watching us, you're going to see behind us several pics of the restaurant before we actually go into the food. And you can see has a wonderful old retro diner. I think you're looking at the counter right there in front of the open flame kitchen with the old silver and red stools. Just really cool. And in front of that, as you first enter the restaurant, there's a series of booths on one side and the old chrome, great chrome ice cream chairs and tables. What's your capacity about?
Right now, our capacity is around 35 people, but we, this Saturday, have opened up our patio, and we put 4 tables outside with
Excellent.
4 top and 2 tops, which have been pushed together. Parents come with their children. The kids, eat out in the yard. We put a table out in front where we had some diners today, and today was our busiest day yet.
Perfect day. Well, you're looking, and it doesn't look like a lot there because we took the picture early on, but they've got a really deep lot, a typical New Orleans, narrow but deep lot, and that has so much potential. They had some great little brick patio that, as she mentioned, has put some summer chairs out there and tables. And hopefully, future will be it's just like a park back there. So when they develop it and really work it over, I think it's going to just be a tremendous addition to the indoor dining, especially in our great climate right now.
Yeah, we're hoping to put some grills out there and have like an outdoor grill, kind of like the Genie Courtyard feel.
Excellent.
A little outdoor dining.
Well, I think they have hit on something for everybody. In fact, when you see, as we're about to start, the type of food that we're serving, really quality food, forget about fast food restaurants. I mean, and what's good about this, of course, it's open probably as early and as long as the fast food restaurants. The prices, in many respects, are going to be even more reasonable than the fast food, but the quality and the variety of food is superb. So without further ado, let's go ahead and whet their appetite and start with breakfast. Of course, I'm not saying it's the main meal, but certainly it is the piece.
It is the draw.
It's the draw, and so we want to go ahead and give you some real good details on that. And so as we go through the pictures of the restaurant, we're actually going to come to the dishes that we've had for breakfast. Now, as I say, in fact, when they first started, they had an even more ambitious menu and realized that, hey, in order to keep the quality, we're going to have to cut back on this. The volume of people is just too much for us to be able to do these amount of things. But we're still talking about a very varied menu that is really interesting to most groups. And so we want to go ahead and start with, and they've got a lot, as of course very important, they've got a lot of cute signature names on some of the dishes. Some of those KAPPA will share with us, either family members already. But one of the first dishes on the plate, if director will bring it up, is called the St. Louis Slammer, a good old baseball term. Tell us about the St. Louis Slammer, please.
The St. Louis Slammer comes from my tenant.
Your tenant?
Who is also my contractor for the diner, Jason White, who has helped me with my house, and he comes from St. Louis, and he told me about this breakfast that they always had at their diners. And it is named after him and his wife, Robin.
Well, notice it's 2 eggs, and you can do that anyway. This is mine sunny side up, but that's right, you can be done anyway.
Anyway.
Any style. Fabulous, great hash browns, folks. But tell us what the rest of it is on there. It really adds to it.
We have it smothered with chili, bacon, and cheese.
There you
it's
go.
served with a toast or a biscuit.
There you go. But see, that's what
It's
that
a big
chili.
breakfast.
What's that?
It's a big breakfast.
A huge breakfast, folks, but really great. Can you see all that? Eggs, hash browns, and chili cheese, and bacon, you said?
Bacon, yes.
Along with a little biscuit or toast. So right there, you're set for the day. All of the things we're going to be talking about today are plentiful portions, but quality food. That's the case, because just because it's plentiful doesn't mean it's going to be good, as we all know. We've been disappointed by a lot of things when our eyes are bigger than our stomachs, but at the same time, if they're not going to taste good, no matter how much you serve it, you're not going to be able to eat. Here, you're not going to have that problem. We want to go ahead and show another typical kind of American breakfast, but again, it's called Doc Horne's. Now, is that related, a relative?
Doc Horne would be my father.
There you go.
Who has hooked me with breakfast.
Hooked you with breakfast.
Very, very big breakfast fan, and I cherish all my morning breakfasts with my dad.
Well, folks, take a look at this. Can you see the size of breakfast? Let's go ahead and tell them about it. Obviously, you got 3 huge pancakes.
Yeah.
Starting over with the heavy pancakes. I couldn't. That's heavy for me. Go ahead. What else you got?
We've got 2 eggs anyway with bacon or sausage. This is my dad's favorite. Of course, he likes his sausage burned.
Burned. I noticed the picture there we had might not have been as burned as her father eats it, but 2 great sausage patties that, again, tremendous food. You're going to really enjoy these breakfast items. And we want to show you the variety. Beyond the American one, this is one of my favorite coming up next. It's the Guatemalan, and hopefully we'll bring it up to you, and we'll show you this is a feast beyond a feast. I mean, if you're a late morning person like I am for brunch or breakfast, it's really good. And do you serve breakfast anytime?
We serve breakfast all day long.
All day long, even at night?
Even at night.
Well, that's my kind of style because
there's a definite need for that in this city.
There's always with the late night venues here, and you're going out, and oftentimes you'll just crave breakfast food any time of the day. But especially the late, most of these places stop at 11 o'clock or something. They got to get ready for their luncheon trade. But many times, if you had a late night or something like that, you're sleeping in, it might be 1 or 2, you're getting ready, and you really want a breakfast food. You don't want a lunch. So we couldn't get anything better than this. So let's see if Mr. Director, there he goes. Can you check this out, folks? This is called the Guatemalan. Let's tell them, first of all, once again, I ate this, so you see those are 2 eggs, sunny side up. But look at what's on the rest of the plate. Go ahead.
It's black beans and plantains with warm tortillas. I spent a little time in Guatemala, and every breakfast I would love to wake up to scrambled eggs and beans and
like a real staple. This is so
plantains.
Right. This is so authentic for the Guatemalan breakfast. I mean, I've been there many times and spent time as well, and know it for a fact that this is a great, authentic dish. The plantains, for those who don't know, are the long. Now, do you do them when they're ripe? Because they were so sweet, I thought that maybe
they're definitely ripe plantains.
Yeah. Sometimes people use the green plantains, which of course not as ripe, but these were so sweet, almost like dessert. But again, it's not a huge portion, and just enough to give you a little sweetness.
And it's healthy for you.
Very good. And the wonderful warm tortillas. And I had to put a little more to it. I actually threw a side, because she's got lots of sides. If you notice up at the top of the picture, I did a pork chop. Ooh, I tell you, I had enough. That was a great meal.
My favorite.
So, folks, now I mean, she has a list of all kinds of other stuff with regard to different combinations, different egg styles. I don't think she's doing waffles yet. I would hope one day she can come around with a waffle, because
I think we're going to try that.
Good. I'm a waffle fan more than a pancake, and also maybe French toast down the road. But I think she's got a wonderful selection right now, so I don't want to pin her down and ruin her quality of food. But I'm telling you, it's so much fun. She's got an eclectic group of guests as well as staff. You can sit in your choice, or whether it's a booth, the old-time style or retro, right on the bar stool, and those revolving low-down stools in the counter, or some typical chrome tables, or now the little patio seating, which makes it just even better. Okay, let's talk about it. I know you have some other omelets. We didn't really talk about omelets, but let's talk about those, because again, that's a standard with many of them. I don't think we have a picture of an omelet, but I see a bunch of combinations. Which one would you think would be your forte?
That would have to be the Havana. Although I did have the Roma the other day, which is fresh spinach, mushrooms, tomatoes, onion, garlic, and feta cheese. And it's absolutely delicious. Everyone loves that one.
But let's talk about that Cuban one, the Havana, you said.
The Havana, yes.
Let's
I spent
hear
a little
about
time
that
in Cuba, and it was awesome. The salsa, black beans, bell pepper, and some cheddar cheese. It's delicious.
So we got black beans again, but we've got bell pepper, sauteed bell pepper?
Sauteed bell pepper. They're wonderful.
And what type of cheese are you putting in there?
We're putting a cheddar in there.
Cheddar? Excellent. And serve with tortillas again, or something else?
It's just served with toast or a biscuit.
Biscuit or toast?
Yeah.
Great.
You can substitute a tortilla, which is perfectly fine.
Okay. And then there's one of my favorite, the old, I call it the Western, but it's not really Western, but chili and cheese. I mean, you can't beat anything better than that, folks. That's comfort food right coming up. So chili and cheese, and I really like to even put tomatoes, pimentos, and really doctor it up so you get sloppy, but some of the best food. And
we encourage creativity.
There you go, there you go. She does have pancakes. Like I say, fortunately, you saw 3, and pancakes to me are extremely heavy, so I couldn't eat 3 of them at a time. But you can buy an individual single pancake for those who realize that pancakes are too much for the day. They really, you have to work off a lot to get rid of a pancake. One of the things we do want to talk about, though, is so it's not all unhealthy, or what we want to call the old-time kind of religion, but she's also really got a great influence with regard to fresh fruit and doing that. And one of the things that we're going to jump ahead of ourselves. We normally don't talk about beverages till the end of the show, but I'm sold on, I don't think you call it, I call it a smoothie, folks. They might call it a blended fruit parfait or something, I don't know. You get something?
A fresh fruit blender.
Fresh fruit blender, there you go. I think they'll know what you mean if they use smoothie. Hopefully it's not a trademark name, but I'm telling you, we're talking about fresh fruit. Tell us about it. Now here's something we need to talk about, because a lot of the people who buy smoothies at the stores, they will go for the sweetness, and there's a lot of sweet. Now she doesn't do it. Now her brother recognizes that the American palate is more geared toward the sugar. So if you want a little more sweetness, better ask Raymond to do it, okay? He'll put some honey or your preference on it. He'll put a little more sweetener. But let's tell us about the healthy one. Talk about great. You can't start a breakfast better than a smoothie. I have it every one of the meals I go there. Tell us about your smoothie, KAPPA.
Well, when I was working out and running and rock climbing, I wanted something quick that I could grab to just put in the car with me and go. So I take fresh fruit, whatever is available at the season, some fresh juice, yogurt, and chop it up in the blender with some honey to make it a little sweet. Ray, however, makes it a little sweeter than me. And you blend it up, and it's a great, nutritious to-go breakfast if you don't have a lot of time. And we encourage people just to swing by and pick up a blender to go.
And notice, folks, beautifully presented. Serves it with the fresh strawberry. But one thing you see on here, and we had to do this for the photo, she served it in a clear mug for us because of the photo. The actual smoothie is so large, and it's in a large plastic red glass. I mean, super size. I don't know how many ounces it is.
I think it's like 24 ounces.
There you go. Huge. But again, it would not film well because of the red glass. So you might not see it in the cute little clear mug, but you'll be getting almost double what you're seeing there. And so it'll last through any meal. Phenomenal choice. Really healthy, flavorful, and to me, the real finish to a breakfast, as opposed to, I know everyone has to have coffee, but I think, to me, I would much rather have something like this because it really is healthy and great taste. Okay, now I know you do some, again, we do have healthy people in mind today too, but besides that, I know you do other fruit things like cups and fruit parfaits. Tell us a little bit about those.
The fresh fruit cup is just really what our season, best is at the time. My purveyor picks out the freshest produce for me and sends it over, and the fresh fruit parfait is pretty much a layer with granola, yogurt, fruit, granola, yogurt, fruit. And it's just a delicious way to sit down and have a refreshing meal. And we also drizzle honey on that.
Wow.
We don't use any sugars because I'm just not opposed to it. Although if someone asked, we surely would.
Right.
But we do use honey.
She's a lady after my heart because that's exactly what I use as honey as my sweetener standard. So it's so good. And fortunately, because more and more people are getting interested in teas, that they will go ahead and have tea with honey. But at the same time, here we've got it already in stock with the blender. So now one other thing we want to talk about is that you also have oatmeal. Now you don't see much of that, even though that's a staple. Tell us about your oatmeal breakfast.
It's a weird thing to me that people don't offer a basic oatmeal, which is a wonderful, healthy breakfast. You can have that with, our fresh fruit as well. We have whole milk to put on it and half and half and some cream if you want to go that heavy route.
Well, great. And again, I think that's a great treat. Now, again, we're not a big oatmeal town, but I think come wintertime specifically, I think this is a great alternative. So, folks, get out of those fast food places or whatever it is, drive-throughs, and eating that stuff that's so artificial looking and synthetic colors. Get back to the natural stuff. Here you have a tremendous variety for you. Fantastic. When you see the prices on this, you're going to be surprised, and you'll see why so many people are patronizing. You're not going to get a better meal for a better price. Now, is there anything else you want to talk about breakfast items before we move into lunch and dinner?
Well, we also encourage someone to come in, and if they want, one of my favorite things to eat for breakfast when I'm working and I have a long day ahead of me is I get a side of grits, a side of plantains, a side of black beans, and a side of fresh spinach and some jalapeno peppers, and I put feta cheese over my black beans, and it's absolutely divine.
Well, you're hitting on something. We have a fairly large audience that are vegetarians here.
Yeah.
They call usually, and so let's go over that again, because I know when we've talked about a lot of these things, but the whole idea of what I call grazing, your idea of picking and choosing, putting together. Let's talk about that plate again, because I think that's something that the vegetarian, even if not a true vegan, or like myself, I love to do vegetarian sometimes, but not as a standard meal every time. But that sounds like a great combo for a breakfast. Let's go over it one more time if you don't mind.
No.
You had your black beans and you're putting feta cheese on it.
I put the hash browns down, and then I put a little black bean over the not
top.
the hash browns, the grits. And
Okay,
then I
the
put
grit.
some black beans on top of
of
that,
the
and
grits.
put a little feta cheese
sure.
with some jalapeno peppers, and I like the plantains because they're just so delicious and they're really good for you. And the fresh spinach, which we go through so much fresh spinach. It's amazing. It's so wonderful just to saute and serve it fresh with a little bit of garlic and olive oil.
I haven't had that since I've been there so many times in 1 week. I'm getting to be a fixture there, but I have to admit I didn't try. And spinach is my favorite vegetable.
Yeah,
so I don't know how
wonderful.
I missed it, but I'm saying
Wonderful.
I will definitely try it. So there, folks, for those who are interested in eating vegetarian, what a great breakfast for you there. I mean, you can just eat oatmeal and fruit, and that's fine too as well. But this is a great coming in. See what she's done? She's what I call grazed, picked and put together a lot of combinations and come up with a fantastic variety that will really be interesting to you. But now we're going to go ahead and move on because time is flying by, and we want to go ahead and start talking about some of the luncheon and dinner. Now, the luncheon and dinner menu is not necessarily the same. Well, yes, it is the same, right?
It's a lunch and diner, yeah.
Right, okay, we just like to call it diner, which is perfect for it. But so you can order these things either at lunch or dinner, either way.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
important. With the same price, it's not a different pricing
No.
in the evening. That's
No.
good. Let's talk about a couple of your sandwiches before. And I forgot who we. No, I think we're gonna. Let's skim over quickly some of the sandwiches and the salads. One salad I know we have a great picture of, hopefully, and then we'll go into the real entrees. But I know. So let's talk about what was one of the tuna salad. I believe I tried. Great sandwich. So I think we put it together on, what did we have it on? Wheat or rye?
Yeah, we had it on rye with some
Nice pickle.
nice
kosher
pickle and some great fattening chips, which I love. Just love chips. The tuna salad is a great comfort food as well.
Oh yes.
It's something that I grew up with, and I think every kid in America went to
Exactly.
school with a tuna fish salad sandwich in their school
We might have
box.
a picture. I think I did a combination of a grilled cheese and a grilled tuna. Tuna salad, because I love both. To me, as you say, you hit the word comfort. There's nothing better than a grilled cheese sandwich or a tuna salad sandwich when you want something on the go, but at the same time light, but filling at the same time. Tell us about your grilled cheese, because I really loved it.
Grilled cheese. We have a plain grilled cheese with your standard American cheese. Basic grilled cheese. You can add mushrooms or onions or spinach. We have also a grilled Tuscan, which is served open-faced with, it's toasted on sourdough with pesto and tomatoes and mozzarella cheese.
Right.
Ray likes to slap those together and make
I'm
it
hoping our
delicious.
director
Yummy.
will get some of the pictures up, because I think we have some pictures of some of the sandwiches. Not. Okay, we jumped ahead. Now, keep that on there, director, because we definitely were going to talk about that right now. That was really. Now that item is very unique, folks. I don't know if you recognize what that is, but that's a potato latke. And it's served many different ways here. This is like you could serve it as a breakfast item, as a side dish. But tell us about your potato latke that we're looking at right now.
Potato latke is basically a.
It's not something we have much down here.
No. It's
So you
it's
gotta
not.
explain
It's
that to people.
it's definitely something that I found in New York and different places on the East Coast, and it's basically a potato pancake that's served with sour cream and a dash of black caviar.
Excellent. Really a real treat. But you're going to see later on there are different ways, and when we get to the entrees, you're going to see that there's a knockout dish featuring the potato latke we just saw, but as the base of the ingredients. Okay, we were talking about the great sandwiches. She mentioned about the Tuscan, the wonderful grilled cheese and tuna salad. They have burgers. I didn't eat a burger. They have a veggie burger, a regular burger, grilled chicken, the whole spectrum, and of course the inevitable BLT that everyone loves. Let's talk about salads. She's got a great selection of salads. My favorite salad, folks, I can only find this at 3 other restaurants here in town. Can you believe that? I told her that. She didn't believe me. One is one of our premier steakhouses. Another is one of our seafood houses that are actually out on the lake in what we call West End, which would be just the opposite, a place you wouldn't think it. And now, sure enough, we find it here. And she slapped on a great name for it, but basically it's a wedge of iceberg lettuce. And tell us what you call it here.
I call it the trailer park wedge.
Trailer park wedge. And with that, it's got to have blue cheese dressing.
Absolutely.
Just soaking through that, folks. And I say, I know you're going to want to see tomato. No, you can eat it plain.
You can eat it plain, yeah.
Great. But they do a little accompaniment here that really gives it some color and some zest. Tell us what you accompany it with.
We put some tomatoes, carrots, and red onions, which I think are delicious.
Key. To me, especially the onions, the red onions, it has just the perfect flavor. To me, the basic is the red onion, the iceberg lettuce, and just heavy on the blue cheese. Now, it's a cholesterol clotter, but at the same time,
it's a wonderful cholesterol clotter.
You're going to go happy. This is truly, to me, the ultimate of pure but fantastic salads. It's an entree salad that can't be beat. But she has all types. She has a Linda, the blues, a spinach salad, and a small mix. So, again, you can go from overdosing like I'm talking about to something healthy and light, the way salad is mainly meant to be. But we want to go ahead now and start moving a little bit into the entrees because it's almost time to hear from our musician again. And the first one we want to talk about, and our director has some picture here, is what we just spoke about with regard to the potato latke. Now, we served it just a minute ago. It's a nice, simple little, but distinctively kind of upper crust with the sour cream and the caviar. I'm going to ask her one day she puts a little maybe egg, a little grated egg, and maybe some grated onion on it as well.
Absolutely.
To really put it up big style. But at the same time, it's excellent. But here's another way. She takes the potato latke, or maybe even 2, and tell us what you cover it with.
We cover it with a little crawfish etouffee.
A little.
To give it a little New Orleans flair.
I'm telling you, folks, when you see, hopefully the director will be able to put out that picture. There you go. Can you believe that? Now, is that 1 latke or 2 there? I think it's 2.
That's 2 latkes.
Yeah. As you can see, the base underneath the plate is the potato latkes, but smeared over with a wonderful crawfish etouffee. We're talking about so flavorful. Tell us some, of course, the fresh herbs. You've got your tomatoes, your greens. What else you've got in the base of your etouffee?
Onions, the Holy Trinity, of course, which is your green onions, your celery, and your onions.
And one thing good about it, even though you're having those spices, it's not heavily spiced. It's not over hot. Some people, of course, New Orleans, we're known for our heat, so we like the heat on some things. But I'm telling you, I think they did the right thing here. They held back from making it super hot. It's got just enough spice to blend in with that crunchiness of the potato latke.
Yes.
So you're really fusing 2 good foods. And again, the idea what we're talking about of the contemporary with the New Orleans, but also the retro look. So we've got a great thing going on here. And I recommend if you want something very hearty for lunch or dinner, more likely, try this adventure. Be adventurous. Try the potato latke, smeared over with crawfish etouffee. It'll make you a firm believer. We had several people mouth-watering. I had to let them sample mine because they just could not believe it. Some friends of ours we met from out of town from Florida, and they had heard of crawfish. but only saw them in the typical boiled way. So they could not believe it could be done so such a delicate taste and in a beautiful dish. So they were really thrilled about it. Okay, now let's see. We have a couple more entrees that we have pictures of. I think the next one we're going to talk about is the vegetable Napoleon. Look at that. Again, we're going back to the vegetarian, but it doesn't have to be. You can put some other things on here if you'd like. But this was really very delicately, beautifully served in its own oven-baked dish. Look how pretty that is, folks. Tell us, and of course most of us assume in the old days of Napoleon was strictly a French pastry, but more and more people today are layering their food and calling it a Napoleon. And tell us what is in your vegetable Napoleon.
We have roasted garlic,
Okay,
eggplant.
gotta have that.
It's base of a portobello mushroom.
Portobello, that's it.
That's got roasted garlic on it.
Okay.
And then there's eggplant and mozzarella and roasted red peppers.
Red peppers, I knew
and
that was
mozzarella cheese, and it's a great hearty, nice little vegetarian dish because so many people are now steering away from meat 7 days a week.
Right. Yeah. Totally correct. But this, of course, as we know, I mean, what better substitute for meat than a portobello mushroom?
Oh, the portobellos
I mean,
are
it's
delicious.
almost like indistinguishable. We're talking about
they're so
meaty,
meaty in
That's
themselves.
exactly. So the base of that, plus you're putting eggplant, great red peppers in it, and that coating of that
Caramelized
cheese,
onions, yes.
and then baking it down in that oven dish served right from the oven to you. Not only
Absolutely.
super hot, but beautifully presented and a great, great dish. I mean, I would heartily recommend. And we weren't going to pull another vegetarian dish out, but I said this is well worth it.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
I
It's
think
yummy.
you'll really enjoy
Yeah.
it. Okay, now we're going to hit on one more of the, at least show one more picture. Now this, folks, your basics. You can't get any more
Oh,
basic,
yeah.
but I'm telling you, they have brought it a notch above. Now, whether you can see that, let's talk about the meat ingredient. We know you see those fries, but let's talk about the meat. That is, folks, is meatloaf. And we're talking about some of the best meatloaf in town. They pride themselves on this dish. It's their signature dish on the meat dishes. Tell us a little bit what makes your meatloaf so good.
Well, I don't think I can tell you exactly because it's Ray's secret recipe,
Oh,
and Raymond
come
doesn't
on,
let
come on.
anyone.
Ray will share. He's not here.
Ray doesn't let anyone know.
Well, tell us why it's different if you don't want to tell us the ingredients.
It's just so it's just a nice, wonderful. It's almost like pate.
The flavor, I have to admit, it's not
It's definitely-
necessarily delicate of pate, but it has that same infusion.
Yeah, kind of like a country pate. Maybe.
Exactly, a French country pate. That's exactly what I thought. Of course, when you slab on the wonderful gravy, you kind of maybe
Absolutely.
lose a little bit of that delicacy.
Yeah, no, he has a reduction sauce that he puts on top that's absolutely
phenomenal.
delicious.
Folks, there's nothing better than comfort food. There's no way you can do it. And when you can improve on it, that's even better. And I think Ray and KAPPA have taken meatloaf to a new level. Now, I won't say it's at the level of Chateaubriand, but at the same time, you're going to find one of the best tasting dishes around. It is by itself, whether it was accompanied by anything else, it is tremendous flavor. But tell us what was on that dish? What are those greens on there?
That would be a side of spinach or sometimes we get collard greens, which
I think
we
had
like.
some local
Really,
greens.
really, really like the collard greens.
I think we had that local. It was
Oh yeah, anything green we love.
There you go. But I mean, it was a real unusual treatment because you just don't see that normally. It's always the mashed potatoes, the gravy, stuff, and not so much the greens. So it was truly a great, great plate, and I recommend it heartily. Now we're going to talk about just a couple more real quick because it's almost time for that musician. There's one there's one that she's taken off, and I'm going to beg her. And again, it's my comfort level that I got to have, and I can have it even for breakfast. She does a chili by the bowl that is tremendous.
Oh no, we still have chili by the bowl.
No, I know. Wait. But she also had a macaroni and cheese dish. And my favorite dish is either baked macaroni combined with chili on top, or a baked macaroni with either marinara or even a meat sauce on top.
Yeah.
So you got to bring that back. She had it the first week.
We are going to definitely bring macaroni and
We
cheese.
have locally down here, down in Paris, as they call it, we have an old-time restaurant that's been forever called Rocky and Carlos. And there they take their baked macaroni. Now they put their red gravy on top of that, a lasagna, whatever. And they put
wonderful.
the same concept here, folks. But we're talking about, so try it if you like chili. or maybe there's some, when they're doing some red gravies, when they put it on top. So hopefully she's going to bring back that baked, because we're talking about truly comfort food is that baked macaroni.
Absolutely.
And what better way than mixing with a chili bowl? She has one last thing we're going to talk about, and that's a heavy Ray. What is a heavy Ray? Because Ray's not heavy.
Ray is a friend of mine who lives in L.A.
Oh, this is not your brother, Ray. I was wondering why.
No.
I was wondering why it's spelled a different way.
This is a girlfriend that lives in.
Yeah, it's not a Y, it's an E.
No, it's Raylan Loop, and she told me that I had to have a biscuit with smothered in etouffee, and I said, of course, we'll have it, and it'll be called the Heavy Ray.
Well,
It's a very hearty
she
meal.
took offense at that,
No, none of my friends take offense to me.
Well,
I
it's
hope.
certainly not SOS. That's what it is.
I hope they don't take offense to me.
Folks, there's some more items, but again, you know, we can't cover everything in the shortness of time and do service to both our restaurant and our musician. I hope we're giving you some really great ideas. And again, what's good about these, you can find most of these dishes at any time of the night. You know, you might not have a certain lunch item or dinner item early in the morning, but at the same time you might, because they really are very, very flexible here. But the idea is you're talking about great food, things that you just imagine and crave and get a craving for, and you can get it almost any hour of the day at some of the most reasonable prices. We're talking to KAPPA, HORNE, and our brother Raymond, who's slaving at the stove there. He said, make sure I told him about it. He's slaving at the stove there. Opening Slim Goodies Diner on Magazine between Louisiana and Washington. Remember, open straight through from morning to night, late night on the weekends, 7 days a week. So right there for you. You're going to see people from the neighborhood. You're going to see people from all over. And comfortable environment, great lot of fun atmosphere. And one of the real quick things before we move on to musician is that we talked about contemporary and retro. You'll see some of the light fixtures, a lot more contemporary, a little paintings, but done in a retro. But one of the coolest things is the old idea of a jukebox, but done updated. Tell us about that real quick before we go to our musician.
The jukebox is full of old blues, country western, and a lot of old rhythm and blues artists. Anywhere from a contemporary artist like Cake to Nina Simone.
But the good
A lot
thing
of
about
local artists as well.
it's
Anders
free.
Osborne, who's one of my favorite.
It's free, and then isn't that right? It's free,
We,
right?
we do provide a lot of free songs, and
Free
then
songs.
of course if they're down, you can pay for some.
You can pay for some, but it's a great hung on the wall, but not the big old thing, but great sound. Really gives the final touch to the restaurant, the real ambiance of the music. And we're hoping one day that they're gonna think about putting some of our musicians. You know, we love to put them in the restaurant, run them through to you, give them additional venue. I think it'll work perfect in this place. But without further ado, we want to go ahead and go back to our great musician today. We're running a little late behind. Hopefully he'll forgive us. But we have Dave. And Dave, what do you want to do for your second song, please?
I'm going to do a song, Bob, that's named after the neighborhood I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, Collinwood. It's the Collinwood Blues. Makes sense, huh? Well, I wish I could. I could go back. Could go back where I started from. Well, I wish I could go back where I belong. But I can't go back 'cause the place I'm from is gone. Well, it's a quick trip from the first hole to the last. Well, it's a quick trip from the first hole to the last. It seems the future's gone before the past is even past. Well, they say time is money, like it was a natural fact. They say time is money, like it was a natural fact. But if you're dissatisfied, you can ask for your money back. And I wish I could go back where I started from. Well, I wish I could go back where I belong. But I can't go back 'cause the place I'm from is gone. Well, I still feel like that kid from Collinwood. I still feel like that kid from Collinwood. But they paved that road, now that ain't my neighborhood. And I wish I could go back where I started from. Well, I wish I could go back where I belong. But I can't go back 'cause the place I'm from is gone.
Very nice. Dave Malakar, everybody, and he's keeping up that same pace, which is really apropos for our restaurant. So don't forget, he'll be back with us one more time. We're getting near the end of the show. So it's Dave Malakar. Don't forget that name. And we're talking today to Miss KAPPA HORNE, I'll get it, who she and her brother Raymond have opened Slim Goodies Diner. It's a brand new 1 week old anniversary diner done in the old retro style, mixed with contemporary settings as well. Uptown in our magazine, our restaurant row uptown in between Louisiana and Washington, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, late nights on the weekends, and straight on through. So you got a great time. You can eat breakfast any time of the day, so you know when you get that craving. And we should have given you some real good reasons for craving today, because we've had some excellent food items. One real quickly though, we need to talk a little bit about, even though we've gone through the sandwiches and the entrees and the salads, we haven't had a chance to mention that they also do a soup du jour. We skipped soups because there's no soup per se on the menu unless like me you count chili as a soup. But they do a soup du jour, and they also do a plate du jour. So we want you to, and I won't say they get real exotic, because again, we're talking about basic food, but at the same time, another variety. So if if for some reason you tired of some of the things on the menu or just can't find it, and being a soupaholic like I am, I'm always going to try soup. No matter what time of the year or season, if there's a soup there, I'm going to try it. So, KAPPA, tell us a little bit about some of the soups that you're having or you're anticipating, and some of the other plates before we move on to the end of the show.
Well, here again, we want to start bringing into New Orleans a little more flavors from around the world, like a nice curry, coconut and milk soups. We want to do, classic gumbos, and a lot of different varieties from all over to try and see if we can sell them. A little healthier for you as well.
Great. And how about the plates, though? How about the plates?
The platers of the day, we're definitely going creative and, basic comfort. My mother makes a rice dish with rice, water chestnuts, and mushrooms that's so delicious. We call it Rose's rice.
Dang, right?
And we do things like we'll have chicken and grits with collard greens and Creole tomato sauce on top.
Excellent. And so that is every day, all the way through Sunday.
Yeah. When we have, sometimes we, like today, we were making our gumbo and just got slammed with people and ran out of time to make our gumbo. So tonight we should have it.
There you go. There you go. Again, you can't fault them. It's a new operation, 1 week. And as you know, we don't, this show is not here to judge on service, and we're not a critical review. We're here to find the best in all the new restaurants from a food. And that should be your primary reason. You know, if it's the alcohol or the beverage bringing you to the restaurant, there's something wrong. It's got to be the food. We all have our mistakes on a bad day with service. That can happen with anyone, or even in the kitchen. But if you have a consistency of quality of food, you're going to do well. And that's what's proved itself out already in 1 week. Without any advertising, this place has been bombarded. So everybody loves to go to a new place. We know that. But this is going to be crowded all the time. So they definitely are going to need additional space in the background to accommodate the great attendance and reception they're receiving. Okay, we do want to talk a little bit about some beverages. You know, we showed that fabulous smoothie earlier, so that was a great. But you have other juices. What other type of beverages you have? Let's talk about some people.
We have orange juice, apple juice, your regular sodas that you would find, a ginger soda. We have iced tea, iced coffee.
Yeah, because people got to have their coffee with their breakfast.
Absolutely. You have to have coffee. We go through so much coffee. It's amazing. Then we have teas and herbal teas for those who like herbal teas.
Now, we're not doing alcohol, though, right?
No.
Okay.
Not at this time.
Okay. No problem. No problem.
You're more than welcome to bring it in.
I always like to hear from the host.
We have no corkage fee.
There you go. There you go.
We want to make our customers happy, so whatever they want.
That's getting to be more and more, of course. So not so much as the breakfast items, and that's your forte, but certainly the dinner, and especially being late night place. People love a late night place, so they might be eating a breakfast late at night, but would like to accompany it with a wine. So there you go. Until they make that decision of changing, go ahead and bring your bottle in and no corkage. The important thing here, you're talking about a lot of flexibility, which we love, a lot of hospitality, which we adore. And so these folks are really going to make your stay enjoyable, both from the food and the whole ambiance. All right, now, we did skip one item, and it's very hard to skip this one, but at the same time, eating the size proportions of all the other things, it's very hard to get it, and that is the desserts. I've had one of them, but let's talk about it. You've got about 5. I haven't had the bread pudding, but tell us about that.
Bread pudding is a standard Southern thing that I grew up with that you can't get away with. We also make a plantain sauce to go on top of the bread pudding, or you can have your traditional bourbon sauce to go on top of it.
Excellent, excellent. And then you do a brownie. Well, that's
we have a brownie we serve hot with some ice cream and drizzle it with chocolate and whipped cream.
Okay. A tiny tub of ice cream.
Tiny tub of ice cream, or just the schoolhouse tubs of ice cream that are just so wonderful that I can remember, eating at so many birthday parties as a child.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that's about it. There's a couple other things, folks, and as we hear, so many things coming on. They don't have time to be new creations yet because they're so overindulged and they're just overwhelmed by the reception they've had. That doesn't deter you. Not long waits. Don't worry about, they get so crowded, me an hour before I'm getting. Absolutely not. It's a nice size capacity, and like I said, because of being open continuously, the flow is great, so you're going to enjoy yourself. Have a lot of fun there. Again, we really appreciate KAPPA HORNE coming on to represent beautifully she and her brother's new diner, Slim Goody's Diner, on Magazine between Washington and Louisiana. Please give them a try. We want to tell you real quickly before we go, because the end of the show has come. It seems like an hour flies by sometimes. Yeah. Always check us out here. Website, restrevue.com. Look for us on Saturdays at 3 p.m. As you know, every Saturday we're bringing you the best of new restaurants and new musicians. We do want to mention about a new venue. We talked about our last week's show, starting in the first week of April. A lot of our musicians will be appearing. We haven't had the name of the bar yet, not a bar, it's a club, but in the old Fine Arts Theater, a legitimate old theater that's been converted into an special events hall that also has big name talent named James Rivers. we've taken the back part and made it a small, intimate club for 30 to 40. And we're going to be open on Fridays and Saturdays. And what's really good about it, these young emerging artists will get the cover. The cover is going to be very low, 3 to 5, very, very low cover. You can have your choice of beverages and food, but we'll run 2 or 3 during the evening, different venues of artists. But this just gives them another opportunity. Some of our restaurants have given them venues, but we want to give them one where they're also in their own type of setting. So we'll be telling you more and more about it, but if you need information, call up Fine Arts Theater, look at their website, and they'll be giving you information. Now, again, thank you, KAPPA, for coming.
Thank you.
And we want to go ahead and let Dave MALAKAR take us out. What are you going to do for us, please?
A country song, Bob, called Blue Nothin'. She packed the kids, she packed the car, she went away. I never dreamed she'd go so far until today. And now these rooms, they seem too big, they seem too bright, with only me and blue nothing. Blue nothing, blue nothing, far as the eye can see. There's no horizon, nothing between all this blue nothing and me. I never guessed, I should have thought, I might have known there'd come a time when I'd be caught here on my own. I lift my head out of my hands and look around. All I see is blue nothing. Blue nothing, blue nothing, far as the eye can see. There's no horizon, nothing between all this blue nothing and me. Blue nothing, blue nothing, far as the eye can see. There's no horizon, nothing between all this blue nothing and me.